and welcome back to my channel. Yes, we are in a new area of the house again. I have a Thai tea, I have a beachy theme. What do you think we're going to be talking about today? If you guessed sunscreen, you are correct. Now, as you guys know, I am white. Being the lightest one in my entire family, I was always that kid who, before I even stepped like a foot outside, my mom slathered me in sunscreen. I mean, we're talking like layers of white cake on top of other layers of white cake. But because I grew up wearing a ton of sunscreen, I also know a lot about sunscreen now. As I got older, and especially this year, I've really gotten into like what sunscreens are the best and like what's the best for my skin, what's the best for my body, what's the best for the environment. And today we are going to be looking at all of those categories. So I have a big bundle of sunscreens that I have tried, I'm gonna say over the past year. It is 100% necessary. Sunscreen is just as important as shampoo, conditioner, body wash, because it is your one and only protectant out in the sun. All right, guys, let's get into it. The first brand I want to talk to you guys about is one that I actually really like, and it is the Teak I Am Perfect SPF 50 sunscreen. Now, this does retail for $24, but I don't think it is an American-owned skincare brand, which is why I can understand why that pricing might be a bit inflated, because if it's not coming from the US and if it's not coming from a place like China where we typically get very cheap foreign labor, then we're most likely getting high quality products, but also products that have to be shipped here at a higher rate. This is also one of the only products where I really think all of the positives kind of outweigh the negatives. It's understandable why this product is priced so high, so let's get into that. Start off, this product is extremely moisturizing. Now, I think it does work really well on normal skin. I think you might have a problem with this with severely oily skin. I did not notice it irritate my eczema at all. In fact, I just liked putting it on as like a daily moisturizer. It didn't feel like I was putting on sunscreen. It was not this thick, goopy consistency. It was so nice and moisturizing and really hydrated my skin so well. So I definitely recommend this for people who need that little bit of extra hydration, or people who are looking for an SPF that also is moisturizing. It's also all natural, making it eco-friendly. It's dermatologically tested and for real. And it also is fragrance-free and synthetic fragrance-free, which is really important when you have skin that has severe issues like mine. When you have fragrance in a product, it can immediately trigger reactions, and the fact that they completely kept fragrance out of their formula is amazing. The only people I would also not recommend this to are people who are on that deep skin tone scale. I do think that this will work perfectly on light skin, pretty okay on medium skin tones, because you can rub it in your hands and really make it warm to really let it sink into that skin. I think the only skin tone that this might leave a white cast on is darker skin tones, more towards like the Jackie Aina spectrum and down. I think Jackie Aina even might be able to make this product work, but I just think that anyone under that might have slight difficulty, especially because there's only so much that you can really heat up a product before it just dissolves into your hands. I rate this a 4 out of 5 because everything else is awesome. The one little tip I have is that I just wish it was formulated for all skin tones. But when you have a natural sunscreen, it's extremely hard to formulate for darker skin tones. There's just something about like formula itself and how it's formed that it cannot go past like a certain dark skin tone most of the time. And usually when you have darker skin tone sunscreens that are specifically for darker skin tones, you're actually going to find that they have a tint in them, because there's really no way to erase that whiteness. You just have to like cover it up with something else, which is usually why places like Unsun and other businesses that make handmade sunscreen specifically for darker skin tones actually use tints so that they can hide that white cast. Little information for y'all, because you know, I really did get angry when I saw so many sunscreens just have this like thick white cast, and I wanted to understand why, especially natural sunscreens. Natural sunscreens are the worst at having white cast, and I wanted to understand why that was. So I actually went and looked at some of the chemical formulations of these sunscreens, and it's not that it's impossible, it's just really hard. And when you put all of that, I guess, time and energy into the product to make it completely white cast free, it ends up being extremely expensive. And then you have to outweigh, well, you know, would you rather have a product that has a slight tint in it for $15, or would you rather have a $50 product that is just the same as like a quote unquote normal sunscreen, it just doesn't have a white cast? And I think it's better to have, currently, you know, for most people, especially right now with our economic status because of COVID, I think it's better to have sunscreens that have a darker pigment in them to make them suitable for all skin tones, if that makes sense. The next product we have to talk about is Neutrogena Beach Defense SPF 70. It's $11.99 for the full size, and I'm gonna tell you guys that I really desperately tried to find positives about this. I mean that. Now, I would say this is for more moderate to oily skin. It is slightly moisturizing, but it isn't as moisturizing as I would like it for dry skin. And overall, I just really don't think it's good for dry skin in general, because dry skin typically tends to have a lot of issues with having flare-ups and stuff like that, and so does acne prone skin. So I would be careful with this if you have any type of sensitive skin, whether it be due to dryness, acne, or any other issue. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, as moisturizing, quote unquote, as this is, it is super fragranced. Like, it's super fragranced. This is supposed to be dermatologist tested, but I just really don't see where a dermatologist would be okay with this, because it has so many ingredients in here that are just really harmful to sensitive skin, along with thick fragrance. Like, this is fragrance beyond belief. And if you have worn Neutrogena before, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's kind of the same thing with Banana Boat. Like, it's just a heavily fragranced, which if you're looking for that, that's fine. This might be for you. But on top of that, it's just really not great for most skin types. I also found that it barely blends into my skin. I have to really heat it up in my hands before it starts to blend into even my skin tone. So I couldn't imagine how someone with a darker skin tone might have to deal with this product. On top of that, it's not eco-friendly, and most products that aren't eco-friendly I'm already skeptical about, because, you know, if it's bleaching coral reefs, what's it gonna do to my skin type of deal? And I did find that it did kind of trigger my eczema. So on a combination of me not feeling like it was actually dermatologically tested, it not being good for sensitive skin, it having extreme irritation when I put it on my eczema, not really being for darker skin tones or even medium skin tones, and then not being eco-friendly, I give this product a 1 out of 5. I just don't really think it's worth it. The only reason I might be able to justify it is because it is only $11.99, but really, I feel like you could find a much better product than this. I'm not gonna lie, I might have actually just bought this product because it had really cute packaging. It's a Skin to You Sun Silt Delivered Facial Moisturizer with Broad Spectrum SPF 30. Now, I did only buy this because it was cute packaging, but it is only $5, which I think is really freaking cool. Now, I don't shop at Walmart. I do not support Walmart. But if you are in a low income area, or if you're just having a really hard time right now because of COVID, they do sell this at Walmart, and it is only $5, which is really the only reason that I fully support this brand, because I think it's just such a low price for the benefits of not only having a facial moisturizer, but learning to use sunscreen in your daily makeup and skincare routine. You know, if you're just starting out, I think this is a perfect product for you to learn kind of how to start out. I will say, it is definitely hydrating. Like if you can see my hand, it is super moisturized because I put some on my hands this morning and it's still on my hands. It really melts into your skin. I just wish that the chemicals they used in it weren't so harsh. Something you may notice if you do have sensitive skin, especially if you have sensitive facial skin, is that when you use sunscreens that are not natural and that are chemical-based sunscreens, they burn. This one in particular really burnt my skin, particularly my eyes, which are my most sensitive areas. I get cracked skin and peeling around my eyes pretty frequently. And this really irritated that, especially when I went outside and started like sweating. My entire face some days would just feel like it was on fire. It would get into my eyes and my eyes would start burning. And you know, it just gave me this idea that like, why is this burning so bad? Like, this is supposed to be good for my skin. Something that's good for your skin shouldn't ever hurt your skin. Even if it gets into your eyes, like if I feel safe about this product, if I put it in my eyes, it shouldn't literally make me feel like I'm going blind. You know what I mean? Like, to an extent, it may feel irritating, but it should never feel, you know, extremely irritating to the point that it's like uncomfortable and you can't open your eyes. And I did notice that my eyes literally started like puffing up and swelling when I started sweating with this facial moisturizer on. So, you know, I think the benefit of this is like, it's great for beginners. It's great for a person who is looking for daily hydration and also a broad spectrum sunscreen because they want that extra protection and maybe don't have time for a two-step routine. But you also have to remember, this is not for sensitive skin. This is not for oily skin. This is not for people who have dark skin. I would say this is more for like a light to medium coverage. This is a chemical base, so not only is it not eco-friendly, but it's not as safe for your skin. And I mean, overall, chemical sunscreens are just super harmful to sensitive skin and even sometimes just normal skin. As much as it is a good start for beginners, I can only give this a 3 out of 5 because the only reason I would ever purchase it is for people in my life who can only afford maybe this $5 product, or who are just beginning and don't want to spend the extra money on products that they don't know how to use yet. Our next product is actually a brand that I really freaking like. It's called Botanical, and this is the Botanical Sunscreen Broad Spectrum 30. And I was actually really freaking excited when I saw this. So this is basically a sister brand to Australian Gold. Australian Gold is a really common sunscreen company, but this particular line is eco-friendly, which I love. It's supposed to be super natural, not only for your skin, but for the environment, which is why I really wanted to get this product, because I feel like this is one of the first mainstream brands to come out with an eco-friendly line. I just wasn't as impressed as I thought I would be. One of my biggest issues is I wish it was more hydrating, because it's such a thick white film consistency that it's so hard for me to actually blend it into the skin, and I feel like I don't really get any moisture out of it, like, at all. It is a non-greasy formula, which I respect, but non-greasy doesn't mean that it can't be hydrating, which I think this brand kind of fell short of. You know, they didn't actually make it hydrating, and I think that's also one of the reasons it just didn't blend into my skin. I had an extremely hard time blending this into my skin. I would even think that it was fully blended into my skin, and then I would go outside and just see like a white cast on my arm, which kind of sucks because I was really excited for this brand since it is eco-friendly and it has so many awesome things on here. It's not animal tested, it's hypoallergenic, it's dermatologically tested, it's reef friendly, So I don't really understand why they couldn't just add like a little bit of moisture to make this easier for me to use. Overall, you know, I really like that this is one of the first brands to come out with an eco-friendly sunscreen and an all-natural sunscreen. And I really wanted to like give this thing a good review, but the fact that like it's so unusable because it leaves such a thick apparent white cast, I can really only give it a 2 out of 5 because we're past the day and age where we have to deal with white casts anymore, and I just feel like for $15.99 I can get a sunscreen that doesn't leave such a thick white cast. Next up, for $8.99, we have Alba Botanica Soothing Sunscreen SPF 45. I actually really liked this sunscreen. The reason I bought it is because at the time I was looking for sunscreens, I actually needed one that was extremely soothing and just like calming on my skin because I was dealing with harsh eczema for that month. And I found this one by Alba Botanica, and it's actually recommended by the Skin Cancer Organization. So I was like, oh, they say it's safe. It must be safe. And I really do like it. It's actually a really good sunscreen. It has natural fragrance, which I wish it didn't have any fragrance at all. Again, natural fragrance could literally just mean like oils. Like I just wish it had no fragrance at all, but you win some, you lose some. But I mean, I think it comes with so many other ideals that I can be okay with it. This is light to medium skin tone. I will say it is pretty thick. Like that's a very thick consistency, but it blends in so much better than the Botanical sunscreen. If you can see right there in my hands, you don't see any white cast. And so I would definitely say this is a light to medium sunscreen. Whew, that fragrance is heavy though. And then another thing about this brand is that they are another one of those brands that were the first to come out with eco-friendly products. And I think that is freaking awesome, especially for only $8.99, having an eco-friendly product that is endorsed by the Skin Cancer Foundation. Overall, I really can't be mad at it, especially because it blends into light to medium skin tones, and I really haven't tried it on dark skin tone yet. Obviously, I really can't, but I think maybe it might blend into a darker skin tone too, which is why I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, because other than the really heavy fragrance that's in this, I really have nothing else bad to say about it. I think it's 100% worth your money and your time. And last, but definitely not least, my favorite sunscreen. This is the Alba Botanica Hawaiian Sunscreen in SPF 50. And this is my favorite sunscreen of all time. It is only $12.50, and overall, I think it is great for moderate skin, dry skin. The only skin type I really couldn't see this working with is maybe like oily skin, because it is a bit oily, and it is actually a spray. So you just spray it on, and see how I mean it's like it is a bit oily, but if you notice, there's no white cast. There's none. It's gone. There is no white cast. This is the one and only sunscreen I have ever tried that doesn't actually leave any type of white cast at all, meaning that it can be used by almost every single person. On top of that, it is also from an eco-friendly brand, which I think is freaking awesome. You know, it's really not very fragranced. I do think they have like a coconut fragrance in here, but I can barely even tell. I honestly just smell like the natural sunscreen of it. And overall, like the fact that it has 0 white cast for me, it's eco-friendly, and it works extremely well on my sensitive skin, I'm sold. This one will always be a 5 out of 5 for me, because I think it is a great way to promote not only like eco-friendly products, but also be promoting, you know, inclusion, because I feel like a lot of darker skinned people get kind of left out of the whole coral reef bleaching situation, and having a product like this that won't hurt the coral reef but has zero white cast whatsoever is an awesome solution to that. So this is a 5 out of 5 for me. It's not really for oily skin, but I mean, I think most skin types can use this product. And even with oily skin, if you're not applying it to your face or your most oily areas, I think this would work absolutely fine for you, because you're not supposed to coat it on. It's supposed to be like a nice mist. And the fact that it's only $12.50, which is about average for most sunscreens, I give this like more than a 5 out of 5. This is a 10 out of 10. And those are all the sunscreens I have to review for you guys today. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, let me know. Leave a comment down below of what your favorite sunscreens are, or if you've tried any of the ones that I told you guys about today. If you liked this video, you might as well leave a like below. And if you're gonna leave a like below, you might as well watch a few of my other videos. I'm really trying to get up to at least 20 views on every single one of my videos, because I've only really been having like 4 views per video every week, and I would really like to up that to at least 20 views. So please participate. Comment down below. Just leave a like. A little bit of something goes the extra mile every single day for me. Alright guys, have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!